I'm Sam.
I'm Hillary.
I'm McKenna.
I'm Ashley.
And we're the Good News Pod.
Welcome back to the Good News Pod, where we take a closer look at the people and activities of Goodwill Southeast Georgia. And today we're looking at some of our core values as we talk about our 60th anniversary. We've had 60 years of service, and one of those values here is teamwork.
I think what's nice about having organizational-wide values is that they really do guide everything that we do. They guide our actions inside our work environment, outside of our work environment, and really kind of help define who we are as an organization. So I'm glad we're diving in.
Yeah, and talk about great teamwork we have here at Goodwill. I mean, us, of course, best team, mighty marketing, but also within the other parts of the organization, we really, truly do have an amazing team.
Yeah, McKenna, here you've had a chance to kind of get to know some of those teams as well, going out to the stores and seeing how those teams interact.
Yeah, absolutely. Working in the marketing department, I've definitely gotten to go out into the stores and learn what everybody does for their job and just get to see how close all the teams are together. It's really wonderful because that's how you want your workplace to be.
Definitely. And a quick plug for your day in the life videos that you've been putting together. Those have been great. So for anyone out here who's wondering what some of those different roles look like and kind of the lifeblood of what it takes for the organization to come together, definitely check those out. We have more than 650 associates just within our organization alone. So it's really important for us to kind of understand everyone's different voice, talents, our passions even, and how that kind of influences how we all work together. And one of the ways that we do that is through our Unity Squad.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to point out that even though we have so many different unique departments and we have our donated goods retail, we have our administrative support teams, nothing gets done without multiple hands. And that Unity Squad, I think, is a great opportunity for us to really highlight how working together impacts everyone in our community, not just those here in our local stores.
And we actually got a chance to interview two of our leaders from the Unity Squad, Michael and Kamena, which they were absolutely lovely and really dove into the values and the mission and purpose of the Unity Squad. So why don't we jump to that?
Sounds great.
Can't wait.
Welcome back to the Good News Pod. This month, we're so excited to have Kamena and Michael join us. Thanks so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, awesome. So today we kind of wanted to talk a little bit more about the Unity Squad here at Goodwill Southeast Georgia. So can you guys share with us a little bit about how the Unity Squad came about?
For sure. So I'm going to take us back to the year 2021. A committee was stood up and we really wanted to focus in on the diversity of our associate population. And in doing that, we wanted to stand up a committee that really focused in on celebrating that diversity, on educating through what different perspectives, different groups of associates were feeling, their cultural backgrounds, and that kind of stood up the initial committee. And fast forward, we decided to really, truly evolve the committee because that took some work in standing something from the ground up. And we felt like we had a really good grasp on educating.
Right. And so in 2024, we made a conscious decision to evolve. Another initiative was Better Together. And I love that one.
I think we have that on a shirt somewhere.
Absolutely. Yes, that's our shirt. And so with Better Together, that's an internal initiative where associates can participate in events to represent heritage traditions and strive to involve the overall culture.
You both have been a part of the Goodwill team for a few years now. How has been a part of the Unity Squad been a big part of your journey on the Goodwill team?
Yeah, so definitely want to shout out our other core members of the team as well. So we also have Meredith Champagne, who's a part of the committee, Veronica Styron, Giovanni, as well as Thomas, who all help to support some of the core activities. And for me, it was kind of a natural transition working in human resources and really seeing from the people side the engagement that needs to happen. And I wanted to definitely be a part of being able to give back in that way and being able to represent in the community what Goodwill is all about. That was one of the core reasons that I thought about joining the committee back in 2022.
Awesome. Yeah. And we spoke a little bit earlier about how, community involvement is a key part of the Unity Squad and how that ties directly back into our mission of serving our community, helping to remove barriers. So can we talk a little bit about what it's been like to join in some of these local celebrations over the past year or so? You guys have been out at the Martin Luther King Day Parade. We've been in St. Patrick's Day. The Buddy Walk last year was a big one. So can you guys share a little bit more about those experiences?
Well, my experiences in the community involvement was people that I saw inside locations with me being a part of DGR Donated Goods in the retail stores. Getting out in the community and them being able to see me out there participating in these community involvement activities showed a different side of us. It showed the social side of us instead of us just being a retail store or just being a donated goods. They were able to see how involved we are in the community. So that's what it was for me.
Yeah, and I think likewise, when you're out, especially at some of the events that we've done, you see the amount of love that the community has for Goodwill, and they're shouting us out. We love Goodwill. We love shopping at your locations, or whether that's donating or even monetary donations. You really feel that we have earned our spot in the community through our mission programming. And then the second part of that is just seeing the diversity of the groups that come out to support the events that we've been at. So whether that's working with other nonprofits on removing barriers or stigma associated with different groups that's going on in the community, or whether that's partnering to just see the amount of different people with different backgrounds that are all coming together, whether that's an MLK event, whether that's St. Patty's, whether that's walking for cerebral palsy. There are many different ways that I think people show up, and just by being there, it really advocates and brings awareness to those activities.
Yeah, you guys are talking about all of these moments that you've had, being out in the community, kind of showcasing that other side of Goodwill. Is there a particular memory or a milestone that is particularly sticks out to you guys?
Well, one for me is the Knights of Champions. So being involved in that event with Miss Charlotte, one of our long-term employees, was very exciting for me because they videoed us and we got a chance to showcase our long-term retention goals. And so it was extremely emotional for me because I was be able to go up there with her and stand next to her, and she hugged me so tight, and it was just tears, and that's what stood out for me. That was memorable for me.
Yeah, that was definitely a great memory. For me, another strong memory was just being able to partner with other nonprofits in the community. So last year we had the opportunity to partner with Habitat for Humanity. And that was kind of a full circle moment for us. Zarek Samples, who is the Coastal Georgia CEO, he came out to support our program, and he actually came out the year prior and worked with Goodwill on one of our Unity Squad initiatives for our town halls. So it was kind of a full circle moment for us to be able to give back in that way. And for me personally, it brought back childhood memories because I grew up working with my granddad, and we would do wood shop work, whether that was building birdhouses or building bookshelves. So to actually have the opportunity to build a shed for a family in need, we all know that affordable housing is definitely something that is a challenge in this community. So it felt good to be able to give back in that way.
Absolutely, Michael.
Definitely. And, when we talk about partnering with other local nonprofits, really key to what we're building here when we talk about building a legacy, not only just of our own, but for our community moving forward. And that's something really big for us this year as we're celebrating our 60th anniversary as an organization. So we wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about that too. with Goodwill here in Southeast Georgia reaching its 60th anniversary, what would each of you say that milestone means to you personally?
I've reached 2 milestones here. So it's 5 years, and last year's was 10 years. So it was really prevalent for me because I didn't even realize that Goodwill had been along for 60 years. And to be a part of 10 years of that is astounding. I'm looking forward to the next 60 years because the sustainability part. And if our economic issues stay or change, I feel like Goodwill will still be a part of the world's sustainability. I still feel like we'll be around.
Yeah, I think for me, when you think about 60 years, a lot of things don't last 60 years, right? Especially nowadays. So that's truly a long-standing legacy of being involved in this community, of really sticking to the core of who we are. And I always go back to, what we're doing for the community is a hand up, not a handout. And we're really bettering individuals. And for me, the strongest part of that evolution has been the ability for us to collaborate more effectively with our nonprofit counterparts. And I'm really looking forward to continuing to see that evolution as we continue to grow and evolve from an industry standpoint here locally and from a needs standpoint here. I think that it's been, for me, refreshing that our CEO has been committed to us not changing who we are. And I think that it's important that I say this because there's a lot of things happening in the news right now, specifically related to DEI and B. And for us, at the core of what we do is celebrating, and that engagement initiative is huge for us, is celebrating diversity. And that part of the program will not change. And it's in alignment with what the current administration is also looking to do through executive orders. So we have always been an organization that has provided equal opportunity employment and celebrating the individual uniqueness of who we are.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah. Definitely really relevant in understanding who we are now and how that will continue going forward, while recognizing that, what's needed in our community does change over time, but that we're able to stay true to our mission and still provide those needed opportunities for folks, no matter what they're facing or who they are. So we're very excited about that.
Yeah. And we mentioned our 60th anniversary, it's all about a legacy. So now we're going to kind of flip it. And as we continue to grow our legacy, how do you guys see our organization continuing to evolve and grow in the next 60 years? What do you guys think is going to happen in that time beyond all of us?
Or what would you like to see?
Oh, wow. Look, I could rub the crystal ball, right, to predict the future. For me, I think it goes back to the fact that, they say the children are our future, right? And more than ever, we are at a time of significant change. We have a generation that has newly been into the workforce, right? We have another generation that's following behind, that's coming into the workforce. And I think you hit the nail on the head that as these new generations come in, the need will continue to be there, even as we evolve. And I still think that for us, Goodwill has a bright spot in helping to continue the workforce development initiatives that are going to be needed by this community.
We'll still have the sustainability to be able to move forward with the same opportunities and initiatives, because that's where it started. So that's where we'll always be. I feel like it won't change for us. We'll be the last one standing.
Yeah, and it's really going to allow us to amplify our efforts, amplify our impact of what what mission truly means to this new generation, and how we may be able to align programming again to evolve with those changing needs.
Yeah, and that's, I think the great thing about individual Goodwills being locally operated and being accountable to a local board of directors as well.
Right.
We talk about that responsibility that we have with our resources, and having a board of leaders who are out in this community as well, that, are on the board as a volunteer basis, but they're out in the community doing other things. So they're, looking for those potential blind spots or, things that we need to look out for. So I think that's something unique about Goodwill that people may not realize, is that, yes, it is a national, international organization, but ultimately we're held accountable locally by people who live and work right in this community as well. So we're really attuned to, what needs to happen here to keep things going and to keep things sustainable as we move forward into that next 60.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Michael and Kamena, thank you so much for joining us today. It was really great to hear your insights on what's happening now and what's happening in the future.
Yep. Thanks again.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Great conversation with Michael and Kamena. Really just exciting how that committee has grown, and now how we've been able to go out into the community and kind of take their work outside of the building as well. So really looking forward to everything that they have coming up this year.
They are so interesting and dynamic to speak to. So I'm so glad that they're kind of leading the charge with the Unity Squad and providing all these great opportunities for us to work together more cohesively and really build that internal teamwork and connection. So I'm so glad they joined us.
Absolutely. So we have a new segment now on the Good News Pod.
New segment alert.
So this year we're celebrating our 60th anniversary. So we wanted to kind of do a little fun fact segment at the end of each episode. So today I have my fun fact. Did you know that every 42 seconds during a typical workday, Goodwill Industries places someone into a job?
Wow.
So that means that almost every minute that you're at work, someone is entering the workforce and starting their new career.
I love that. I don't know if I knew that, McKenna.
I definitely did not know that.
Yeah, I definitely have to sit down and run some numbers on that.
Right.
Because I do know a lot about how many people we've served, but it's really cool to take that down to how often that's really happening.
What I love the most about that fact, too, is doesn't it make you feel a little bit better about the time that we spend at work, and ultimately at the end of the day, you can go home even on maybe your worst day and know that you are changing lives from the moment you get here till the moment you leave.
Every single minute.
It really puts in perspective how hard our mission team is working with these individuals. And I mean, we see the numbers and it is a big number, but boiling it down to almost every minute, that's like, wow, I feel like they should go get like some extra fruit baskets or something because they're putting it in.
Well, it just really, I think, goes back to reiterate the power of work. People want to add value to something, and I just love that there are so many opportunities for us to give people that chance to be proud of what they're doing, to accomplish something and reach toward, their highest potential and what they want to accomplish, personally, professionally. All of that allows people to go home at the end of the day and feel great and confident and ready to tackle anything.
And I know we touched on this a little bit in our conversation with Michael and Kamena, but that is really the cool thing about Goodwill being a national and international organization, is that wide impact, but then also knowing that we're made up of 153 plus local organizations as well. So the fact that here at Goodwill Southeast Georgia that we're run locally and are responding to a local board of directors means that we're able to respond to the specific workforce needs right here in our community, just like a Goodwill organization, in another state, maybe over in South Carolina is able to respond to what's happening out there.
Yeah, it really looks at the needs of each distinct and unique community and allows us to really kind of customize what we know is needed for our local job seekers and our local employers. Great point.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, McKenna.
Thank you.
That was a really great fun
That was a
fact.
great
Fantastic fun fact.
So make sure to stay tuned as we go throughout this 60th anniversary year. We'll have more fun fact segments coming up. But for now, that's the last word from the Good News Pod. We thank you guys for listening in, and we hope you keep doing good with Goodwill.